I've just returned a couple of weeks ago from an extraordinary trip on the Overland track in Tasmania. It was with a group of Year 11 and Year 12 students from our school, and one which will stay with me for a lifetime. We had the most interesting trip because it started with about that much visibility. For the first 2 days, we couldn't see pretty much past the noses on our faces. And on the third morning, to wake up to drizzle again, was starting to dig pretty deep with the relationship with the students, because I'd pumped this trip up. It was going to be one of those best weeks of their life. And on cue almost, as we came through a section of forest where there is a 1,000-year-old native pine, which is incredibly rare, only 2 of them on the Overland track, and indeed 74 left in the world. The mist started to lift and we started to get into the most beautiful space. And for those of you who've had the joy of exploring Tasmania's wilderness, it is iconic. It's one of those places where you come away deeply affected, and that's one of the reasons why we immerse our students in these sorts of environments. It's one of about 35 different experiences we offer the senior students in our school, and there are 2 immersion experiences over the course of each year for all of our students from Year 7 to 12, which are really about giving them that opportunity to experience life firsthand and have that notion of us exploring direct experience, being able to put ourselves into situations where we might in fact be exposed to failure, and it's essentially unpredictable. There are things that will change which are out of our control, and as a group then, and as individuals, we need to build the resilience, come up with the problem-solving strategies, work collaboratively to get over these situations and put practice into reality. So for me, that notion of the perhaps production line that we've held on to for 120 or so years really doesn't work. Our educational model is very much about flipping that funnel, and as a result of an exceptionally broad range of experiences that we can give our kids, we want them to come out the other end as a broader expression of our population rather than a narrow one. So it's about strengthening that breadth in our community and building individualism rather than conformity. So as a result of a whole series of experiences throughout school, we're building an environment which fosters growth. And it's not about us actually doing things to students, it's about putting them in an environment where they have the opportunity to build that sense of independence and grow within themselves and come up with the sort of lifelong skills that are going to serve them well and give them the capacity to be independent and strive forward on their own accord. And so this notion of engagement is critical for us. And so our experiences are incredibly broad ranging, and they're not all things that would see you connect in at a wilderness level, or indeed even in a long remote period of time. Another experience that I want to share with you is a young man called James Tranter, who is now in 4th year medical school. And for the last 3 years, he has gone up to a community in the north of Australia, on Blutterwich, and he's undertaken his medical rounds there as a doctor. In Year 11, he first connected with this community as part of his community outreach program that we run. It was as a result of this experience of seeing firsthand the need that the Aboriginal community faces that he has been driven to work hard and apply himself and become what will be an exceptional doctor with real heart and passion, and the ability to be able to respond to a situation with great empathy. That's one example in a remote community. Perhaps a more tangible example for us is our drama students, who over the course of an 8-week period engaged with a local outreach centre in the city of Frankston called City Life. This is a homeless shelter which supports homeless people on the streets in Frankston. These students visited, built relationships, talked and connected quite deeply over the course of an 8-week period, and devised a performance which was incredibly sensitive and really built that sense of empathy and understanding about just how difficult it is to live as a homeless person in our cities today. And then they presented this performance to the broader community. And that notion of going public and putting the learning out there was critical. It was powerful expression of what they'd learnt, and because it was public, it meant that it had to be of an exceptional standard, and so they invested deeply into this. And all of these experiences are things that really come as a result of us acknowledging that the world's changed. So the sort of knowledge that we used to give out to our students is all accessible now in an instant. The poor old Encyclopedia Britannica man is out of a job. We are at a space now that says we have to find a way to engage the head and the heart and the hand. And for us to really be bringing all of those elements together and make that our new curriculum. So we're doing work at the moment on devising a set of common language and a skill progression that will lead us through from the earliest years of school to year 12 around understanding what are these life-worthy skills and what is the progression for growth that happens along that journey, and what are the series of experiences that we should be wrapping around those experiences to give students the opportunity to really build those essential skills that are going to set them up well for the future. So it is that common language that means that we can transfer the capacity to be building resiliency skills from learning to read through to an outdoor education experience on the Overland track, through to a chance that students have got to tend a vegetable crop on the farm and raise their products there, being struck by frost and the like, and having to overcome that tragedy when that hits for them. So it's building at understanding of what are the key skills that are really going to serve our students well as we go into the future, and understanding that and embedding that across our curriculum. It's about deep connection for us too, and we understand that really the most powerful learning experiences come as a result of great relationships that exist between our staff and our students. And so by putting them into a whole series of different opportunities to learn outside the traditional classroom, those relationships are built deeper, and as a result of that, the learning becomes more powerful for our students. So if we're to think about what it is that are those experiences in each of our lives where it's had most impact, and we've heard a few of them today, it is often that stuff that sits outside 9 till 4 in the curriculum. And we refer to it as being extracurricular. But from my perspective now, we really need to develop a new core, something that's going to bring these experiences really back into the heart of our learning programs and not be seen as tack-ons on the end of the day or in the holiday periods, but in fact the most powerful learning brought right into the centre of our core. And it's got to start at the earliest ages. So our students in 4-year-old kinder right through into the early years of primary school have a day outside immersed in the natural environment. These are our year 4 student or 4-year-old students in the creek every Thursday. Rain, hail or shine, they're out there exploring, creating, solving problems, dealing with the elements when they come through. They're having music, language and literacy lessons in the environment, building that personal connection with the natural world, developing that personal sense of space, and in all these instances where we're talking immersion, taking away that sense of time as being urgent and pressing, and opening up the learning opportunities for us to slow down, connect with each other at a much deeper level, and importantly to connect with the natural world or the experience that we're in. So in that instance of the bushwalk that I spoke to you about earlier, I in fact requested students not to bring phones and watches, regardless of the fact that there was no mobile network down there, but just that sense of us being able to settle into the cycles of the day, wake up when the sun rises, go to bed when the sun sets. It just gives a natural equilibrium that is often missed in what is a very hectic world today. for our students to have that sense that it matters. The performance matters. How do we bring that performance space into all of our learning and all of our assessments at the end of the day, so that there is a reason to strive for excellence is really key for us. And so our new core is really about connecting students to these experiences which are going to be very much lived and personal. It's about building the skills for the future for our students so that they are ready to cope in a world that is changing. And it'll be that's the constant for them in the future, and we really can't predict where they're going to be, but it's 50 years of preparation that we're giving them now. So that essential skill of being able to change, modify, adapt, cope with the unpredictable is really the key. And for me, that only comes by making the experience direct, having it lived, hands-on and dynamic in a real-world setting rather than something that's pre-rehearsed, cultivated or manufactured as a result of a textbook-driven learning program. So I implore you to think about what is the new core for you. For us, it's largely about direct experience. We're having a very strong discussion around what is the balance that needs to be brought out between direct instruction versus direct experience. We're always going to need to deliver some core knowledge and skills and concepts, and we're unashamedly an academic school on the basis that we want to prepare our students for all of those pathways into the future that are highly academic. But the skills that are really going to set them up well for life, regardless of their career, are all of those life-worthy skills that are best delivered as a result of experiencing them firsthand. Thank you.